There's this moment in Naruto that keeps fans up at night. Picture Pain leveling Konoha with one catastrophic push, thousands dead in seconds, and the village's strongest fighters barely scratching him. Now, imagine someone was missing from that battle, someone who would later nearly kill an opponent far more powerful than Pain. Someone who was conveniently on a mission when the village needed him most. What if Might Guy had been there? And here's the part that'll haunt you. The entire Fourth Great Ninja War might have never happened. Let me show you why.
Before we rewrite history, you need to understand what actually went down. Pain attacked Konoha to capture the Nine Tails, one of the last steps in his plan to create a weapon that would hold the entire shinobi world hostage. Team Guy was returning from a mission when they found Gamabunta defeated outside the village and discovered Konoha in ruins. They arrived too late, finding only destruction. But let's talk about timing. Pain's assault began in episode 157, with Naruto training in Sage Mode and not entering the fight until episode 163. That's 6 episodes where Konoha fought alone. 6 episodes where Kakashi stalled the Deva Path before being killed, where the village scrambled desperately against an enemy they didn't understand. And Guy, he was somewhere else entirely, as he always seemed to be during major village attacks. Fans have questioned why Guy was consistently absent during critical attacks on the Leaf Village. The reason is simple: plot armor. The writers knew what we're about to explore. Guy's presence would have fundamentally altered everything. Let's establish the nightmare scenario Pain represented. The 6 paths of Pain share vision across all bodies, registering 6 separate fields of vision simultaneously, coordinating attacks and covering blind spots. Each path served a specific purpose. The Deva Path could control attractive and repulsive forces with a cooldown after each use proportional to the power exerted. The Asura Path could freely manipulate its body, conjuring extra limbs and mechanical weaponry. The Animal Path could summon immortal creatures without blood sacrifice or hand seals. The Prita Path absorbed all chakra-based attacks. The Human Path could read minds and extract souls with a single touch. And the Naraka Path, it could consume damaged bodies through the King of Hell and resurrect them, acting as an ultimate healing factor. This wasn't just 6 powerful enemies. This was a tactical nightmare specifically designed to counter everything shinobi could throw at it. Ninjutsu? Absorbed. Genjutsu? Ineffective against the Rinnegan. Strategy? Impossible when they share vision. Even after learning about Pain's gravity manipulation, Kakashi was killed by the Deva Path.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Guy's fighting style is the exact opposite of everything Pain was designed to counter. While every other jonin relied on ninjutsu or genjutsu, Guy lacked skill with ninjutsu and genjutsu, but trained his taijutsu relentlessly. This isn't just a stylistic difference, it's a fundamental tactical advantage. Think about what happened in the actual battle. Shinobi threw jutsu after jutsu at Pain's bodies, only to watch the Prita Path absorb everything. They tried coordination, but Pain's shared vision made ambushes impossible. They attempted to overwhelm with numbers, but the Animal Path kept summoning reinforcements. Every conventional tactic failed because Pain was built to defeat conventional tactics. Guy doesn't fight conventionally. He was shown to casually outspeed Gaara's Sand with a mere flick of his wrist in base form. That same Gaara whose Sand had automatic defense that reacted faster than conscious thought. And remember, Rock Lee needed several 8 gates to fight Gaara. making it clear Guy was a true monster even without opening any gates. But it gets better. Let's talk about what Guy can actually do. The 8 gates are 8 specific points that exist to limit chakra flow, normally allowing individuals to use no more than 20% of their body's full potential. With training, these limiters can be removed. When all 8 gates are opened, physical abilities that are essentially lying dormant are forcibly withdrawn, augmenting faculties several dozens of times over. We saw glimpses of this power throughout the series. With the 6th gate opened, Guy totally wrecked a clone that had 30% of Kisame's overall power. Kisame, who was considered one of the strongest Akatsuki members. With just 60% of his maximum power, Guy demolished him. The 6th gate is located in the stomach and boosts all abilities gained from previous gates while enabling moves like Morning Peacock. Against pain, Guy wouldn't even need the 8th gate, not immediately, because here's what people forget. The Deva Path has that crucial weakness. After using gravity manipulation techniques, there's a recharge period of at least 5 seconds, with the amount of time varying depending on the scale of technique used. 5 seconds against someone moving at 6th or 7th gate speeds. That's not a weakness. That's a death sentence. Picture this battle unfolds differently. Guy arrives as Pain's assault begins. He immediately recognizes the threat level and opens the 1st gate, then the 2nd. By the 3rd gate, he's moving faster than most jonin can track. In base form, Guy countered Kamui, preventing Obito from even touching him, which is impressive given that the Uchiha could overwhelm a Nine-Tails-enhanced Naruto. Now imagine him with gates open, facing the Animal Path summons. While other shinobi struggle with the overwhelming numbers, Guy tears through them like tissue paper. The beasts that seemed unkillable, they can't regenerate if they're completely obliterated by Morning Peacock. Morning Peacock is so powerful that the sheer power radiating from Guy causes ripples in the environment, displacing water. The human path tries to close distance for a soul extraction. Guy moves too fast. The Asura path launches missiles and extends blades. Guy can read and anticipate movements by observing a fighter's feet. He predicts the trajectory before the weapons even fire, dodging and countering in the same motion. But Pain adapts. With shared vision across all 6 bodies, they coordinate their attacks. The Preta path positions itself to absorb any chakra-based assault, while the others attack from blind spots. Except, Guy doesn't use chakra-based assaults. His attacks are pure kinetic energy, moving speeds that warp the air itself. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. Because Guy isn't just powerful, he's experienced. He's fought Akatsuki members before. He knows what Konoha stands to lose. And most importantly, he understands sacrifice in a way few others do. Guy's father, Might Dai, taught him that true victory isn't just defeating a strong foe, but achieving victory by protecting someone or something truly precious. That lesson came at a cost. Dai was known as the Eternal Genin, mocked throughout Konoha for his lack of talent. But when it mattered most, he opened all 8 gates and single-handedly defeated 4 of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, saving Guy's life at the cost of his own. Guy carries that legacy into every battle. When he sees the crater where Konoha used to stand, when he counts the bodies of fallen comrades, something shifts in his calculation. The lives of everyone in the village suddenly rest on his shoulders, and he has a choice to make that his father made before him. The 7th gate flares to life. His body erupts in a blue aura of evaporating sweat. Opening the 7th gate causes the user to secrete blue sweat, which evaporates and creates an aura-like appearance. This is the moment when the tide turns completely. With the 7th gate active, Guy becomes something Pain has never encountered.
Remember, the greatest weakness of the six paths is that each body has only one primary ability, and prior knowledge gives opponents a better chance of defeating them. But Guy doesn't need knowledge. He doesn't need to understand their abilities. He just needs to move faster than they can react. The daytime tiger changes everything. This technique takes the power of a simple punch and multiplies it by forming an air pocket in the shape of a tiger that picks up compression as it moves. Guy positions himself, calculates the trajectories of all six paths, and unleashes it directly at the center of their formation. The resulting shockwave doesn't just destroy the paths in its trajectory, it creates a pressure differential so massive that it disrupts Pain's chakra transmission. If the caster is interrupted while transmitting chakra to the bodies, all of them stop moving and become vulnerable. For just a moment, the six paths freeze. That moment is all Guy needs. He tears through the Preta path first, eliminating their chakra absorption. Then the Naraka path, no resurrection, no second chances. The animal path falls next, cutting off their reinforcements. Within seconds, half of Pain's forces are annihilated, and the remaining three paths are retreating, trying to regroup. But here's where it gets truly devastating. Guy knows what happens next. He's seen the crater. He knows the Deva Path can unleash city-destroying power, and he makes the hardest choice any shinobi can make.
During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Might Guy considered opening all 8 gates when faced by tailed beast balls from multiple Jinchuriki. Against Pain, that consideration becomes necessity, because the Deva Path is ascending, preparing to unleash Shinra Tensei. If Nagato cuts off chakra to all other bodies and focuses it through Deva Path, the technique is capable of city-level destruction. The 8th gate opens. After opening all 8 gates, Might Guy was saved from death by Naruto's yin-yang release, though damage to his leg left him wheelchair-bound. But Naruto isn't here yet. This time, Guy knows the price. This time, there's no salvation waiting. His body ignites with red chakra so intense it resembles flames. The air around him distorts from pure heat and pressure. Madara later called Guy the strongest taijutsu user he had ever encountered after Guy opened the 8th gate. Pain is about to discover why. Evening Elephant doesn't just hit the Deva Path, it erases it. 5 consecutive supersonic punches, each creating a pressure cannon shaped like an elephant's foot. The first 3 connect before Pain can even process what's happening. The 4th breaks through whatever defense the Rinnegan can muster. The 5th, there's nothing left to hit. But Guy isn't done. His body is disintegrating, burning from the inside out, yet he's still moving toward Nagato's true location. Because unlike Naruto, Guy doesn't need to stab himself with a chakra receiver to find the source. Sensors can track the chakra Nagato spends controlling the paths back to him. And Guy has sensors on his team who can guide him. The moment Guy breaks through to Nagato's hiding place changes everything we know about the Naruto storyline. Because Nagato, in his emaciated state, has no defense against someone moving at 8 gate speeds. There's no philosophical debate, no talk no jutsu, no chance for redemption. Guy's final technique, Night Guy, was powerful enough to nearly kill Madara Uchiha in his 10 Tails Jinchuriki form. Madara became powerful enough after becoming the 10 Tails Jinchuriki that Guy, even with all 8 gates released, needed help to get around his defenses. Against Nagato, there are no such defenses. The technique connects. Nagato dies, and with him, Pain's ideology dies too. But so does Guy.
Guy's body starts disintegrating as he dies to the pain of the 8th gate. Naruto eventually uses yin-yang release to save Guy's life, but damage from Night Guy leaves him wheelchair-bound for life. Without Naruto present, there's no saving him this time. Konoha survives, the village stands, thousands of lives are saved, but they lose one of their greatest heroes in the process. The Green Beast of Konoha falls defending his home, and the entire shinobi world mourns a legend. Now here's where it gets really complex, because Pain's death has massive implications for the 4th Great Ninja War. Remember, Nagato used the Renegade's outer path to activate the Samsara of Heavenly Life technique, reviving all those who perished during his invasion for exchange for his own life. Without that resurrection, many Konoha shinobi remain dead, including Kakashi. But more importantly, Obito's plan falls apart. Pain was supposed to collect the tailed beasts. Without Pain, that task becomes infinitely harder. The entire timeline of the war shifts. Obito can't declare war as quickly without most of the tailed beasts collected. Maybe he never declares war at all, instead working from the shadows as he did before. Naruto never has his confrontation with Nagato. He never hears about Jiraiya's ideology, never has that moment of choosing to forgive his master's killer. That conversation highlighted one of Naruto's best instances of winning people over through compassion. Without it, Naruto's character development takes a different path. He returns from Mount Myoboku to find his village saved, but at the cost of Guy's life, a hero who sacrificed everything.
But what if Guy doesn't open the 8th gate? What if he stops at the 7th? This is where things get fascinating, because there's a scenario where both Guy and Konoha survive, but it requires perfect timing and coordination. The Deva Path's gravity manipulation cannot be performed in rapid succession, requiring at least 5 seconds to recharge. Guy, at 7th gate, moves faster than the Deva Path can track. If he can force Pain to use Shinra Tensei defensively, he creates a 5-second window where Pain is completely vulnerable. 5 seconds of 7th gate Guy is approximately 50 supersonic strikes, maybe more. Even if the other paths try to intervene, remember, Guy fought in the 4th Shinobi World War for 2 days straight. His stamina and pain tolerance are legendary. Although losing a leg makes him tremendously weaker, Guy continues to train with his left leg, using his right for balance. That determination means he can maintain 7th gate longer than almost anyone else could maintain even lower gates. In this scenario, Guy doesn't kill Nagato. He destroys enough of the 6 paths that Pain is forced to retreat. Konoha is damaged but not destroyed. The village has time to prepare for Pain's return, and when Naruto arrives with Sage Mode, he faces a weakened enemy with backup already in position. There's another possibility people don't consider. What if Lee was there too? Rock Lee was taught to open the 8 gates by Guy, and by part 2, he could open the 6th gate. Team Guy was together when they discovered Pain's attack. 2 6th gate users working in tandem creates exponentially more problems for Pain. Lee handles the animal path summons, while Guy focuses on the main threats. Nenji, with his Byakugan, could potentially see the chakra transmission between Nagato and his paths. Sensors can track the chakra spent controlling the paths back to Nagato. That's exactly what the Byakugan does. It sees chakra networks. Suddenly, Pain isn't fighting one impossible opponent. He's fighting a coordinated team designed around bypassing his defenses. Taijutsu specialists who can't be countered by chakra absorption. Vision specialists who can track his true location, and all of them moving fast enough that the Deva Path's 5-second cooldown becomes a critical liability. This is the version of events where everyone survives and Pain still loses. It requires coordination,
timing and a bit of luck, but it's possible. And in this timeline, Nagato still gets his confrontation with Nagato, still learns Jiraiya's lessons, still chooses compassion over revenge. But this time, Guy is there to witness it, to see his rival Kakashi alive, to know the village is saved without ultimate sacrifice. So what's the real answer? Would Guy being present have changed everything? Absolutely. At his strongest, with the 8th gate, Guy gained strength hundreds of times greater than the 5 Kage. Pain was powerful, perhaps strong enough to match a Kage, but hundreds of times that power? It's not even close. The question isn't whether Guy could defeat Pain. The question is whether he'd be willing to pay the price. And we know the answer to that. Guy told Lee that if Lee's life should end during his operation, Guy's would too, because he vowed to dedicate his life to making Lee a splendid ninja. That same dedication extends to everyone in Konoha. Guy would open the 8th gate without hesitation to save his village.
But here's the beautiful tragedy. The series needed Pain to attack when Guy was away, because if Guy had been there, we lose one of Naruto's most important character moments. We lose Nagato's redemption. We lose that powerful message about breaking cycles of hatred. The story needed Guy absent, not because he couldn't win, but because his victory would have been so absolute that it would have overshadowed the themes the arc was trying to explore. The writers knew what they were doing. They kept Guy away from every major attack for the same reason they kept Itachi's truth hidden, the same reason they delayed Naruto's Sage Mode training. Sometimes, the strongest character isn't the one who can win every fight. Sometimes, it's the one whose absence makes everyone else's struggle more meaningful. But in some alternate timeline, in some other version of events, Might Guy was in the village when Pain attacked. And in that timeline, Pain never stood a chance. The Green Beast of Konoha defeated the god who destroyed his village, proving that sometimes raw determination and physical prowess can overcome even the legendary Rinnegan. What do you think? Could Guy have soloed all 6 paths, or would Pain's shared vision and diverse abilities have eventually overwhelmed even the 8th gate? Drop your thoughts below, and remember, youth is eternal, but so are great hypotheticals. See you in the next one.